You're listening to Like Father, Like Sons.
You gonna start yelling at me now? You want to start yelling at me for that? You can start yelling at me.
For what?
Start the thing.
You think I yell at you with these days? I don't yell at you with these days.
Only
Did you?
privately.
Only privately. No, I don't even do it privately.
And you just said mother for
I've
that.
I've learned from years and years and years that it's much better to just um, talk quietly because then you listen a lot better. When you scream, you hear what what, the old Charlie Brown stuff. Hello, boys. How are you? Good to see
Good.
you. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yeah,
I
we're
just
back. We got another episode in today for ourselves.
There we go. And Brent and I are both in blue. Look at that.
Yes, that is seems to be the common thread that we always seem to have is we always seem to wear something similar.
There you go.
Now, is that a Tommy Bahama or is that an Amazonahama?
This is some company that I did find on Amazon that makes stretchy Hawaiian shirts.
It looked like a Tommy Bahama. That's the only reason I was asking because of the pattern. But then I remembered that online shopping's a thing and all different kinds of stuff. I'm wearing my typical black t-shirt. There's a 80% chance I would be wearing a black shirt. That's what I normally wear. Actually, at band practice last week, I wore it was embarrassing. Uh my friend Ramsey, who owns a restaurant for anyone listening in Philly, my parents and Brent know Ramsey, but my friend, gave me a t-shirt from Dara and I wore it and it's beige. It's like the same color as cargo shorts, I would say. So I showed up to band practice and Steve was just like, "Oh, you decided to wear a onesie." Yeah, and it was really funny because I really don't wear like I wear black shirts or dark blue so often that I looked down and didn't even realize I had done that. Like I was just like, oh, it's a nice shirt.
Tan pants, tan shirt. That's
Tan.
that. That's what.
He's like I've never seen you wear so much tan before, like so much beige. And I
Close,
just cracked up.
closed your eyes as you were getting dressed.
And
That's
it's
I'm
just so
just
you
close and grab, close them and grab.
in the desert you disappear.
I would have. I literally would have. I was give me the hat, give me the little safari hat. I could have been in a scene from Spaceballs, right? When they're combing the desert.
Oh God.
Speaking of, when's the second one coming out? Anyone know?
I think next year.
I heard it wrapped or was
It
close
it
or
is. They finished filming it, but it's not. I don't think it gets released until like maybe March of next year or something. Because they said Mel Brooks was going to be, if he's still around, will be 100 years old when it releases.
fantastic. I look forward to it. I hope, and I think we're in an interesting era with that kind of stuff where if there's enough passion behind it, it can actually like feel like a good sequel of things. It's been so long, right? But we had like Happy Gilmore. Anyway, I wanted to even say that people like to call me Josh Gad sometimes with my hair shorter, and I didn't like it very much. But I did have a friend of mine who's from London who would always call me Josh Gad in college. And now I'm like, that's pretty cool. So I hope it's a good movie. I
Is he in that movie? Is that the story?
Yeah, he's playing the son of John Candy's character, Barf.
Okay.
didn't even know that. I
Oh,
just knew
oh, Barf,
he like
Barf
wrote it too,
too.
didn't he? Barf too.
That I don't know if that's his name, but that would have been good.
We'll
Yeah,
have to
I
see.
don't know what the character's name is, but yeah, he's the son of the Mog, played by John Candy, because as we know, John Candy passed away about 30 years ago.
Oh, with AI, they probably could get him back in. I don't know that would look. I think that'd be kind of crazy, but
I mean, Bill Pullman's son is playing his Lewis Pullman's playing his son in the movie, playing the son of Lone Star and Princess Vespa.
Oh, interesting. It
So,
is is Princess Vespa in this movie, or we're not
Yeah,
sure?
she. I think she's in it, but I don't remember. I don't. I know Rick Moranis returned.
That I know.
I'm
That I
pretty
know.
sure she did too, if I remember
I
correctly.
think so. Yeah. I mean, obviously, Joan Rivers wouldn't obviously be unless again through AI, they could reprise her as Dot Matrix, which is now a reference that makes absolutely no sense to anyone who would see that movie today.
People are gonna think it's about the Matrix movies, right?
Right.
Like,
Not realizing it's the printer.
Yeah,
what's a printer?
anybody younger than what, 20, 25 wouldn't know what a dot matrix is, or
I don't even know if that. I don't even think. I
I
think it's
think
even
that's
older.
yeah, I think you're looking
I think
at
anyone
40 and
under
under.
30 might not, under 35 might not even know what a dot matrix printer
Well,
is.
here's a litmus for you. I'm 35, right? I can admit that.
yeah.
I'm not 27, I'm 35. Uh I forgot until you said that what a dot matrix was anyway. So is that the one where the things was on the side? You had to rip
The
off the
whole,
paper?
yeah, the holes, yes, the
I
holes in the
remember you
paper,
having that in the fourth bedroom slash office, which turned into my actual bedroom
right?
later in life, and that the paper was all connected, right? And it would just print out
Yes,
on its thing.
yes, it was all,
Okay,
You had to pull it apart.
yeah, the
so
paper was
that's
all,
the dot matrix.
yeah, the paper was all together. It was one big ream, one huge ream, and it had holes on the sides that went in sprockets that was on a, that was like a cylinder that turned as they printed. So that's how it moved. It wasn't like today's printers where it's single sheet, single paper, print on there, let's go. Um, so it was totally different. And I think even those printers, I guess it was is the fax printers, and nobody knows what a fax machine is anymore either, by the way. Um, where it it was very similar on a fax machine, the original fax machines. Again, long paper, all connected together with perforations that you separated apart. And those printers, you had to go and print those things, those pages off. Excuse me, photocopy those pages because otherwise the print would fade after a while. And you go back. I've gone back and looked at pages that came out of those printers, years later. There's nothing on there. It's gone. Talk about disappearing documentation. That was perfect. It disappeared. So interesting stuff.
What an evolution. So then I think the fair answer is between 35 and 37 and under. Well,
Yeah,
maybe won't know what that is or remember.
right.
Brent, you knew what that was exactly, right? Like you.
Well, I knew dot matrix was a printer. I didn't remember that. I mean, I knew we had that
Sorry,
kind
not
of printer.
exactly, but you knew it was a printer. Sorry,
Right. I
that's
knew it was a
pretty.
printer. Like I did, like, again, like I'm saying,
You
like
got the reference.
I
You
got the
didn't.
reference. I didn't, it didn't,
You weren't gonna be like, "Where's Neo?" Like Neo
right.
Matrix,
Exactly.
which would be a
Yeah,
funny
the
thing.
Neo Matrix. That would make more sense today, but
Watch that be this like the Offspring's name in the movie because they're gonna try to play a joke, and we're fans enough to write the jokes as well.
Well, at least you know what a neo matrix is because I don't.
Oh,
So
see,
if
it's the
you,
reverse.
yeah,
It's
it's the
the
reverse. If you're over a certain age, you don't know what that is.
Keanu Matrix. It's the
Yeah,
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves' character from the Matrix films.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah, to be so oblique blunt about it. So what else is going on, everybody? What's been going on since our last chat
Well,
and
I
things?
have a question. I have a question.
Uh,
Anybody go outside at 2 o'clock in the morning yesterday?
so I was out pretty close. Did you?
Are you kidding? I was sleeping.
Yeah, okay. I
Now,
was like, wait a minute. Did
for
mom
those,
could have because of the dogs.
why don't you explain what that reference is to, Carter? Because you're the big science guy.
Yes, and especially space. So what we just had was the peaking of the Perseid meteor shower, which just happened August 12th and 13th in the wee hours of the morning. I kept going out at like 10 o'clock. It was cloudy here, midnight, 1 a.m., 1:30, and then I fell asleep. But the clouds had opened up just enough here, and you can see some stars and some of the planets, right, peeking through, which meant you could see some of the stuff. And you just had to let your eyes adjust, and you see like flickers of just flash across the screen. And I certainly saw a couple. I saw a really big, clear one go across the top, like almost above my house. in the sky. I saw probably 20 or 30 if I just let myself count for the hour. I kept coming in and out to look. And it was really cool. I always love going out and looking at meteor showers. I remember, I don't mean to keep talking and droning, Dad, but do you remember, and maybe this is why you brought this up, do you remember when we were kids, Brent, you and I don't even know how old we were, but like I had the telescope, so I must have been 6 or 7, and you got us up at the 3 or 4 in the morning, super early, pre-sunrise, sat on the driveway looking at the clear sky because where you are, Dad, and Brent, actually, you probably have the best view technically, but you and Dad, where you are, have the best because it's super non-light polluted. You could see the meteor showers then too, and that might have been the Perseid meteor shower. I do not remember, but
It was
yeah.
Perseid or Leonid. It was one of the two.
Oh, it
I
might have
think
been
it was,
Leonid.
I think it was Leonid. And that's the reason I raised it. Exactly. I was going to say, yeah, well, if you didn't see it last night, you guys did see one years and years and years ago when you were small, because we got you up to see it. That's why I didn't care whether I went out last night, because I said I've seen this before. It's not the first time I would have seen it. Um, uh, but yes, years ago, and it could have been 30 years ago, could have been more. No, probably 30 years ago, somewhere between that, where it came, and we were outside at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning to see it. So I remember doing that with you guys and Mom.
I remember sitting in the lawn chair with the blanket because it's cold. It's colder than you think, especially when you
Well,
wake up.
I don't remember what time of year that was either. I don't remember
It
whether it
could have
was
been
summer.
winter actually because of
It could have been. I think it was either spring or fall. I don't think it was all that cold, but I don't think it was 90 degrees out either, or 70 degrees out, whatever. Um, but yeah, we did that before. So you guys saw that before, so it wasn't bad.
yeah. I always like looking at the different celestial event. I mean, you know me, it's like my big thing, and I like looking at the celestial events. The last few years, we had that 60,000 year comet, right? I don't know if you guys knew
Yeah,
that. And I kept trying to go outside, but just on the angle of where I am and where it was, it's just I would be looking straight into the earth to see it, and looking at the comet tails. And some of these events are more annual. We'll get the eclipses and the partial eclipse areas, but we also had that solar eclipse yesterday.
I was going to say, wasn't there another eclipse yesterday as well?
Yeah, we couldn't really see it where we are. We got like a barely partial, if anything. Plus, it was cloud. I
It
think for us,
was
it was
yeah. This one
cloudy.
was the viewing point would have been was much further north, like in Iceland. They got like a great view of it.
Spain had, I kept seeing videos of like the beaches in Spain, uh seeing it, and it was clear and beautiful. And I remember the lunar eclipse a couple of years ago and going outside and filming that through my telescope and phone. And we actually have another lunar eclipse at the end of the month. So it's very unlike me to not have a song ready to go, but I already have a bunch of celestial songs out there and a new EP I just dropped. So I'll be very inspired to create new music now with all this going on, I'm sure, honestly. But Brent, you didn't see anything? You were sleeping?
No, I was asleep, and
And I
well,
didn't realize, I didn't remember it was happening.
I also just wanted to point out for people who like when we say Leonid, Perseid, what that means. It just simply means that that's the constellation that the meteor shower is moving through. Because like you might say, like what's the difference? Like it is all still basically just a bunch of rocks moving through space and catching on. It's not like there's no like it's just which direction it's coming from.
Yes, and sometimes some of it's us moving into it's Earth moving through like a trail, like the back. And as we're traveling in, the space around our orbit of the sun, that's what is when the little debris enters our orbit, that's what also burns up and creates these big showers as well. And they're so small, that's why they burn so high and create shooting stars. And one of my favorite things to think about too, and I wrote a whole book about that idea of thinking about the ancient cultures when they see this stuff. And and we have phones and technology and things and a lot of science and study these days. What it was like 500 years ago when the sun went out, and then the next night or that night you had meteors falling from the sky. Imagine that 1,000 years ago, 2,000, 5,000. It's just so funny to think about seeing that stuff in different time.
Well, it's like, do you ever see the video? Was what it must have been like for the first? Because the reason I thought about this too is because there was a pretty nasty thunderstorm, like a couple thunderstorms that rolled through here my place last night, and it was like, imagine being the first person to ever see lightning and then hear the thunder. It's like you see the flash. It's like, oh, that's pretty nice. Boom. Because obviously, how would you know that there's going to be a sound wave coming after this big flash of light?
It's I was the social media is a funny thing. You got all kinds of videos, so you see highlights videos of different like explosions and stuff, and the camera's recording it, or people are recording it, and it's kind of the same thought. You're just like, wow, look at that, and then the shockwave hits you, and you fly, you do 30 flips onto the ground. But yeah, that
Well,
that's a scary sight in general. Now, imagine you're sitting on your couch and you just see huge lightning, and you're just waiting for the thunder.
well, that's like, I mean, you would appreciate this, Mister. You wanted to be a meteorologist for a long time. All these videos of all these people experiencing tornadoes for the first time, what the winds are like, and they don't realize just how crazy those winds go. Which actually, this kind of leads to something that happened a little bit ago at mom and dad's house. There was those straight winds, and suddenly all these branches come flying down, including a giant one that had been on a tree that had been there for I don't know how many decades.
More than us. You
Yeah.
and me, Brent. And it was it a microburst? We had a microburst near me that like right after that happened to them, which was crazy. I actually took a shower before dad. Wait. I took it. You know how you're not supposed to shower during a thunderstorm, or at least that's what mom always told us.
I mean, you technically can. I mean, it's just not as long
Yeah,
as you're not
but
outside in the shower,
Wait,
well,
you're
wait,
fine.
well,
wait. So,
I have stories, but go ahead.
but like that's what mom always, that's what it always is. That's like the thing. You're not supposed to do it, and I was like, oh, we're supposed to get rain, whatever. I live where I live. I'm taking a shower. And during my shower, I don't hear anything. I don't notice it. I hear a little of the thunder, but we had that big microburst that then came through the city, like right where I am. And there was a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, man, if something was really wrong, this is why you're not supposed to be in the shower. Or if the power goes out, like you,
I
Well,
think
I don't
that's
want to
more
put
what
the
it
water.
is. That's more what it is if the power goes out and the
you just
water
freak out a
suddenly
little
stops
bit when you're
working,
showering.
or it's
Oh,
pitch black.
the water's well. First of all, a couple things. Number
The
one,
water's not power. I get that.
Well,
not
Don't
like
even don't
power.
even bring that into the convo. I'm saying you're gonna be naked in the shower and the lights go out and you're like, what happened? There's a little moment of Garden of Edenness there that you don't want to deal with.
Okay. Well, all right. Couple things. Number one, I don't know whether it was a microburst. I don't know what it is. All I can tell you is I can remember being in the house when that happened and hearing like a blast outside. And I mean a real blast. So I don't know whether it was just the wind going through, what do they call it? A vertical blast,
Straight
vertical
wind.
straight winds. Thank you, straight winds. Something happened, and a big there there was a branch on a tree which was really on the other side of our fence in the back, and it's been there forever. And mom loved it, the dogs loved it, because in the wintertime the dogs would go out and it was an evergreen, so the pine cones, or excuse me, not the pine cones, but the branches would cover and collect snow when the snow would come down, and underneath it would be usually grass, usually depending on how much snow it is underneath and how much snow was everywhere else. So it was an open green spot for the dogs. Okay. And they loved it. And mom loved it because it was there. Well, that branch came off, and that branch has been there since we've been in this house, basically, or at least when we had fences, and as long as I can remember. And we've been in this house forever, um, since before you guys were here. I think Brent was, yeah, Brent was around when we moved here, but he doesn't remember it because he was a little guy. I mean, really little guy at the time. He may not have even been walking at that point. Or close to it. He probably was walking, but not
He was a
but not
rugrat.
but not too well. Okay, and okay, he was more than in his early 20s. He still didn't walk then either, but that's okay. Anyway, but bum. Thank you for the joke. Anyway, that came off, and the back, and you guys have seen pictures, I believe. It looked like all trees came off and came down, broke the fence in a couple places. We had to get that fixed. All kinds of stuff going there, and that was a lot of fun with the dogs out in the back, trying to figure out how to get them out there without them going through the holes in the fence. We worked out, we Jimmy rigged it up and got it pretty well until we could get the guys to fix the fence and get the panels replaced. So that was fine. But yeah, that was not too fun. Lightning, and I don't know whether it's an old wives' tale, but I've heard it too. That you're not supposed to take a shower while in lightning because you never know where it's going to do, how it's going to come through. And I have a story with that too, which I'll get you. So you're not supposed to be in the shower when it comes. Whether that's true or not, I have no idea. Somebody ask AI, not now. Somebody can ask AI and see what they say, but it may be an old wives' tale, as they say, that old cliche. But I don't know. But I will tell you, however, when they say, well, you can't get it in a house, and nobody really believes me that this really happened. When I was growing up and I was a teenager and I was living at your grandparents' house, and again, I was a teenager, so I was maybe 14 or 15 at the time. In my bedroom, I had two windows, and one was on the side of the house, one was on the front of the house. But I was standing, and at the one in the side of the house, there was a register, an air register, a metal register, air return, I guess, or an air, whatever it's called, but the air comes out of the air conditioning and the heat comes out of that thing. So it's raining, it's storming. I'm just looking out the window as that comes. My foot is on the register or just above the register, metal register. I believe, and everybody tells me I'm wrong, but I believe that through the window, I was hit by lightning and it went out the foot. It got grounded on the metal register. Okay. Maybe I was dreaming. I don't know. It tells you how many years ago that was. But everybody says you're crazy. That never happened. It couldn't have happened. You'd be dead right now. And the answer is, yeah, maybe, but I'm telling you, it happened. So when that happened, they said, I don't go near the windows when it's storming at this point. Number one, number two, and I certainly don't go in the shower if I can avoid it.
I've never heard that lightning story
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good.
from you. Do we have any lightning stories? The I have a I remember I remember being at home and we were like young and it turned green outside, like severe weather. Like that's like tornado style.
Yeah.
That was something.
Well, I knew that there was a time when your brother did not like lightning and thunder and what have you. I still don't think he loves it at this point. But he bears with it much better. Than he
Just
than he
learn to
did
ignore it,
before.
right?
Oh
Ignore it.
yeah. Yeah. Stay inside. Don't go outside when it's lightning and thundering. Again, that's good advice anyway, because you go under a tree, the tree gets hit, you're dead, because it falls on you.
I saw a video of a golfer who had films basically his self under a tree and his whole thing got struck by lightning and he probably
Yeah.
was struck as well. But I was on the road a couple weeks ago, almost a month ago, I guess at this point, driving across the state, and we had a bunch of those random severe weather pockets, and it was that kind of rain that you can't see in front of you, and you got to pull over for a second, and it just was storming and lightning, and yeah, it's no joke if you can avoid can avoid
Well,
it.
I the last time it was something like that I can recall, Mom and I were driving back from South Bend after Brent moved from South Bend, or was moving from South Bend to where he is now. And we came back. We had just crossed over into Pennsylvania, and I thought I was driving in the ocean. I mean, the water was coming down that hard, that long. I basically what I did was I got behind a truck and I let him lead the way because you couldn't see too much in front of you, and so I just stayed behind him. I don't care how fast or slow he was going, and just drove behind him. And that was at least 15, 20 minutes, half hour, where the rain was just pouring down. Oh my goodness, to come through that. And that was, I think, driving up on one of the highways. I can't remember which one, and just crossing in, and don't want to do that too often. I mean, they tell you pull over under an overpass, And the answer was, no, I'm just keep driving.
Now we gotta be careful with that because they actually say if it's the tornado and stuff, don't do that. Don't get under
Yeah,
the overpass because that's a danger for yourself. But of course, just you that's the same exact area you were describing, uh,
yeah,
Dad, the western part, almost right in the Ohio border. And it's probably just because the mountain and the way the weather and the
right,
lake effects
right,
and everything happens.
right.
That's what it was. And luckily the person driving was a very experienced person. We were like, Godspeed. And some of the other band people that were coming out literally took an extra 4 or 5 hours because they had to stop. You have to
Yeah,
wait. You
yeah.
can't you can't do it. Where I hear I would never want that to happen is on something like the Chesapeake Bay Bridge or something. Which was it one time where it was like cloudy and like weird, like foggy? I don't know. It's I'm
Raining. It
I'm
was
still
raining.
traumatized. I'm still telling the story. I'll still talk about it.
I recently sent you guys another stretch of ground, another bridge, and said
Louisiana.
you want to you oh yeah that oh in it's near New Orleans, Lake Pontchartrain. That's where it was. They said it's the longest bridge I think in the either the country or the world or whatever, and it's the bridge and you and your car, and they say people go crazy there trying to get over it, and because all you're seeing is the horizon, you're not seeing land, and I think a lot of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge tunnel, you see land on either side of you on a good portion of that, I think. Again, it's a tunnel too, so you're going underground. But yeah, that was a lot of fun when you did it. I do it. I don't have a problem doing it generally. I just, every once in a while I think of you guys and I go, "Oh, am I getting sick of this?" Oh, no, no, no. Keep driving. Just shut up and keep driving.
Just remember
And
the
then,
lightning. The lightning gets you through.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. When
That's
there
what
is no light.
powers you. That's what powers you.
Interesting, interesting, interesting. But that's always a fun thing. Driving on those kind of things. And I guess, and I've never done this, but I'm assuming it's the same thing when you're going into the Keys in Florida, where you're driving over. It's either a 2 lane on or four total of 4 lanes, I guess, two in each direction, over going through the Keys. And I'm saying, and you don't see anything but the water there either. It's just not as long, I guess. I don't. I've never done that. I've never been down in that area, so I don't know what it's like. But I can't imagine it's much different than doing either the bridge over Lake Pontchartrain or the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel.
I would love to hear people's opinions, like listeners, viewers, whatever, on those bridges. Are you okay with driving over them and you love it, or are you like a little hesitant? Some people don't like bridges. Some people don't like driving near trucks. Some people don't like driving on the highway. I don't mind driving. It was the what you're saying. It's a lot. There are long stretches of you and what's to your left and to your right. Whether you can see
Yeah,
the land, you're not getting seasick. It's the
yeah.
fact that if I go, or someone else goes, it's water. It's water that's going to be coming down.
Well, that's what's going to keep you from going.
I know, but then I know, yes, but there's
I,
also there's the you
I was
got to
gonna say
be,
it's those two. It's a 2 lane, but you're hoping nobody is weaving.
right.
and you do just be careful and you drive, and driving is fine. You like, there's no like Dad was talking. Set the scene real quick. We're driving down in North Carolina. It's you. I'm in the front. Dad's in the front. Mom's in the back. We just switched or something. Dad is driving most of it. We're on vacation, and he's like, "Carter, you can drive this." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to be my brother and be like, I left my ID in the copy machine, and then it doesn't matter. You can still drive." But anyway, so I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And it was like white knuckle driving. Like it was like when you have your permit, when you're first learning to drive, it felt like just a little extra. Maybe it was because my parents were in the car. I don't wouldn't argue it was that. It was very uncomfortable with nothing on the sides, you
Well,
know?
all I know is your mother will not drive that stretch. She refuses. I don't think Brent would do it.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
think Brent has. I remember our cousin,
I know he had. I don't believe he has, but I don't think he will. Under penalty of of what have you. I don't think he'd do it anyway, just because he doesn't like it. I don't think Carter wants to do it again. So that leaves me.
We'll see. Do I live with the I do, and I know we all do, but like you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes mentality. But it was definitely. I'm glad I did it. It just was very interesting. And personally, I get a little in my elder age. I get a little, what's the word, Brent, for height issues.
Oh, actually, I don't know what that. There is
The
a
heck's
term.
the word, Brent? Fear of heights. The whole movie about it by Hitchcock. What the heck's it called?
Well, that. Well, that's. Oh,
That was called Vertigo, but that wasn't the
I
movie.
don't get vertigo, but yeah, thank you. You knew what
yes.
I was talking about. You're right. You're right. You're right. It wasn't the movie. I
Yeah.
remember
What is the? What is that?
vertigo. Whatever. It's
No,
it's
no, no. I know what the movie Vertigo is.
but like it's an aversion to like, hey, let me not do roller coaster. I mean, I get motion sick more. That's the issue. But it's like I used to not give a hoot more about certain like aspects of like being tall in the skyscraper and looking down, or like top of the bridge, driving on bridges, different kinds of things.
They call it. It's called acrophobia, but I've never
That
actually
is
ever heard
not the word
anyone.
I was thinking of. Dad actually, it was. I was
I.
going to say the word
I mean,
vertigo.
speaking
I
of
don't really get vertigo,
to
but
kind of,
it's not a comfortable feeling of like, whoa.
I was gonna say to pull it back kind of to what we were talking about before. There is a movie called High Anxiety, which is about a guy whose fear of heights. Which, of course, is another Mel Brooks movie that is it's a parody of all Hitchcock films.
That's also kind of what I was thinking. But like Dad sent me a video of the bridge that he was talking about, the one in Louisiana. Brent, did he send it to you? Yeah, so you knew, yeah. And
Yeah.
as the
Yeah.
video goes on, I get more and more of that feeling of like, stop it, like that little anxious, and I'm like, I'm driving, and it's just like you can drive straight. Of course, we all drive straight, but it's very uncomfortable when the options taken away, the guardrails,
And especially when there you can't see anything in front of you except for more open.
And the trick, that's sort of the trick with the Chesapeake Bay Bridge issue. Funny thing is yeah, you can see some of the land and maybe there's land up to the right as you're still close and the one that you're kind of coming on and off and going into the tunnels in front. But that's the tease because then it's just like nope, back on the water. Like and then you just think of the different like oh, what happens if this comes through? Oh, the random storm out there. When I was in Florida at Fort Myers, Dad was bringing up the Keys too, and I was this is a couple years ago in Fort Myers. Even just going around to the different parts there, you do drive on little stretches like that. Definitely didn't feel as uncomfortable as I did on the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, but I did it. That's the point. I did it.
Well, yeah, and that's the key is that was the point that you did it and you drove it once and you can say for the rest of your life, I drove the Chesapeake Bay Bridge tunnel once.
Hey, I might have ridden on it a second time.
You did because I drove it. And that's and I get it. I understand that feeling of, I better keep the wheel straight because otherwise I'm going into the water. Um, I can yes, I get it. I understand it because
Well,
again, it's that feeling that you got to keep. I'm going straight here and I'm not turning into the water here, guys.
yeah, it's a distraction. We talk about distracted driving, right? In general in society, the phones and different things and the actions. But that's like it's a real definition of like kind of not distract yourself or I don't know. The focus I kind of needed to stay okay. And I guess it just was my first time and it was a little unnerving. It was I just didn't know. I was just like I drive over a bridge almost every week, right?
Mm.
Between states, when I teach and I rehearse and I go over to Jersey. And then I started thinking of that too, though, when I drive slowly over it, to be honest with you. Like
Well,
the
you know,
slower I go, the worse it has become.
there are bridges that are different. I mean, you do the bridges that are relatively wide. They're 6 or 8 lanes wide. There are other bridges that may be um, uh, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. There might be 2 lanes. Excuse me. I'll get it right. 2 lanes across each other, so you have oncoming traffic right at you, with guardrails on the right of you and all the way to the extreme left of you, and you're going, Jesus, is somebody going to come and hit me as they're driving through here? Um, it's amazing how your mind operates when you're trying to do those things.
As long as you remember, you just move forward,
Right.
stay straight, and move forward. Kind of remember that's what there's. I also tend to think sometimes in the concrete way, in the technical and the engineering way of like, oh goodness, what's going on? And you remember how strong stuff really is, and that's really what's awesome about it. So don't let the fear stop you from going across the Chesapeake Bay Bridge so you can come on a podcast and tell the world that you rode on it. So we have a few minutes left in our chat today. Anyone want to have something to say in that time? Dad, Brent?
Go ahead, Brent.
Just it's been one of those times where it's just been really hot and we've all had a lot of stuff going on. So it's glad to always have the opportunity to sit down and talk to you guys, catch up a little bit.
Yep, like that. I think that's really good. I think makes sense. You'll learn things that you never knew, like you guys never knew the lightning story and the other stories that we get through here. So that's pretty good. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of things that go on here. So I'm always happy to do it. It's been, for me, the week's been a little bit crazy. I've been doing PT, as you guys know, physical therapy for my knees. As you get older, everything starts to go, and the knees have started to go. And we're trying to not do operations at this point because like you guys don't like bridges, I don't like knives and needles and doctors. So it's okay. I like doctors; they're okay. They're usually fine, but I'm not looking forward to something like that. So we're trying to do all that stuff. Carter, you got last words?
All right. Well, I just want to say, Dad, even with that kind of stuff, like, stay focused, do what you need to do to feel better, get across the bridge. Want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we will chat with you next time.
You've been listening to Like Father, Like Son, sometimes featuring Brent.